Hello everyone.
Hello.
This will be the last show of theater club this semester. And then the first piece will be The Importance of Being Earnest, happened in 1985. No, 1895. And yeah, please enjoy.
Did you hear what I was playing, Lane?
I didn't think it polite to listen, sir.
I'm sorry for your sake. I don't play accurately. Anyone can play accurately. But I play with wonderful expression. As far as piano is concerned, sentiment is my forte. I keep signs for life.
Yes, sir.
And speaking of the signs of life, have you got the cucumber sandwiches cut for Lady Bracknell?
Yes, sir.
By the way, Lane, I see from your book that on Thursday night when Bert Shorman and Mr. Worthing were dining with me, 8 bottles of champagne are entered as having been consumed.
Yes, sir. 8 bottles and a pint.
Why is it that at a bachelor's establishment, servants invariably drink the champagne? I merely ask for information.
I attribute it to the superior quality of the wine, sir. I've often observed in married households, the champagne is really a first-rate brand.
Good heavens, is marriage so demoralizing as that?
I believe it is a very pleasant state, sir. I've only been married once, and that was in consequence of a misunderstanding between myself and a young person.
I don't think that much in your family life, Lane.
No, sir, it is not very interesting. I have never think of it myself.
Very natural, I'm sure. That will do, Lane. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Lane's view on marriage seems somewhat lax. Really, if lower orders don't set as a good example, what on earth is the use of them? They seem as a class with absolutely no sense of moral responsibility.
Mr. Ernest Worthing.
How are you, my dear Ernest? What brings you to town?
Oh, pleasure, pleasure. What else should bring one anywhere? Eating as usual, I see, Algie.
I believe it's customary in a good society to have a slight refreshment at 5 o'clock. Where have you been since last Thursday?
In a country.
What on earth do you do there?
When one is in the town, one amuses oneself. When one is in the country, one amuses other people. It is excessively boring.
And who are the people you amuse?
Oh, neighbors, neighbors.
Got nice neighbors in your part of Shropshire?
Perfectly horrid. Never speak to one of them.
Oh, immensely you must amuse them.
Hello. Why all these cups? Why cucumber sandwiches? Why such reckless extravagance in one so young? Who's coming to tea?
Oh, merely Aunt Augusta and Gwendolen.
How perfectly delightful.
Yes, that is very well, but I'm afraid to say that Aunt Augusta won't approve of your being here.
May I ask why?
My dear fellow, the way you flirt with Gwendolen is perfectly disgraceful. It's almost as bad as Gwendolen flirts with you.
I have come up to town expressly to propose to her. I'm in love with Gwendolen.
How did you have come for pleasure? I call that business.
How utterly romantic you are.
I don't really see anything romantic in proposing. It is very romantic to be in love, but there is nothing romantic in a definite proposal. Please don't touch the cucumber sandwiches. Your order is especially for Aunt Augusta.
You don't meet them all the time.
That's quite a different matter. She is my aunt. Have some bread and butter. Bread and butter is especially for Rwandan. Rwandan is devoted to bread and butter.
And a very good bread and butter it is too.
Well, my dear fellow, you need not to eat it as if you're going to eat them all. You behave as you're already married to her. You're not married to her already. And I don't think you ever will be.
May I ask you why?
In the first place, girls don't marry the men they flirt with. They don't think you're right.
Oh, that is nonsense.
It isn't. In the second place, I don't give my consent.
Your consent.
My dear fellow, Gwendolyn is my first cousin. And before I allow you to marry her, you will have to clear up the whole question of Cecily.
Cecily? What on earth do you mean? What do you mean, Algie, by Cecily? I don't know anyone with the name of Cecily.
Bring in a cigarette case Mr. Worthing left in the smoking room last time he drank here.
Yes, sir.
You mean to say you had my cigarette case all this time? I wish to goodness you had let me know. I've been writing frantic letters to Scotland Yard as very ordinary of a large ward.
I wish you awful. I happen to be more than usually hard.
Well, there's no good of a large ward.
I think that is rather mean of you, Ernest. However, it makes no matter for now that I look at the inscription inside of it. I find that the thing isn't yours after all.
Of course it is mine. You've seen me with 100 times. And you have no right whatsoever to read what is written inside. It is a very ungentlemanly thing to read a private cigarette case.
But this is not your cigarette case. Cigarette case is a present from someone of the name of Cecily. And you just said that you don't know anyone of that name.
Well, if you want to know, Cecily happens to be my aunt.
Your aunt?
Yes. Charming old lady she is too. Lives up Tunbridge Wells. Just give it back to me, Algie.
But why does she call herself Little Cecily and lives at Tunbridge Wells? From Little Cecily with her fondest love.
For heaven's sake, just give it back to me, Algie.
But why does her aunt call you her uncle? From Little Cecily with her fondest love to dear Uncle Jack. Besides, your name isn't Jack at all. It is Ernest.
It isn't Ernest. It's Jack.
You've always told me it was Ernest. I introduced it to everyone as Ernest. You answer to the name of Ernest. You look as if your name is Ernest. You're the most Ernest-looking person that I've ever saw. It's perfectly absurd that you're saying that your name isn't Ernest. It's written on your card. Here's one of them. Mr. Ernest Worthing, before the Albany. I'll keep it as a proof that your name is Ernest, for whenever you attempted to deny to me, to Gwendolyn, or to anyone else.
Well, my name is Ernest in the town and Jack in the country. And the cigarette case was given to me in the country.
Tell me the whole thing. I may mention that I've always suspected you of being a secret and a confirmed bunburst.
Bunburst? What on earth do you mean by a bunburst?
I will reveal the meaning of that incomparable expression as soon as you're kind enough to inform me why your name is Ernest in town and Jack in the country.
Well, produce my cigarette case first.
Here you are. Now produce your explanation and pray to make it improbable.
My dear fellow, there's nothing improbable about my explanation at all. In fact, it is perfectly ordinary. The old Mr. Thomas Cardew, who adopted me when I was a little boy, made me in his will guardian to his granddaughter, Miss Cecily Cardew. Cecily, who addresses me as her uncle from the motives of respect that you could not possibly appreciate, lives at my place under the charge of admirable governess, Miss Prison.
Now go on. Why you're Ernest in Jack in town and Jack in the country?
I have always pretended to have a younger brother of the name of Ernest, who lives at the Albany and gets most dreadful scrapes. Dear my Algie, that is the whole truth, pure and simple.
The truth is really pure and never simple. What you really are is a Banburist, and I was quite right in saying that you are a Banburist. You are one of the most advanced Banburists I know.
What on earth do you mean?
You have invented a very useful younger brother called Ernest, in order that you may be able to go to the town as often as you like. I have invented an invaluable permanent invalid called Banbury, in order that I am able to go down to country whenever I choose. Banbury is perfectly invaluable.
I'm not a Banburist at all. If Clinton accepts me, I'm going to kill my brother. Indeed, I think I will kill him in any case. Sesame is a little too much interested. It is rather a bore, so I'm going to get rid of him. And I strongly advise you to do the same with Mr. your inveterate friend, who has the absurd name.
Oh, that must be Antagasta. Or relatives or creditors ever in that Wagnerian manner. Now, if I take her out of the way for 10 minutes, that you have the opportunity to propose to Gwendolen, may I dine with you at Tunbridge Wells tonight?
I suppose so, if you want to.
Yes, but you must be serious about it. I hate people who are not serious about meals. It's so shallow of them.
Mr. No. Lady Bracknell and Miss Fairfax.
Good afternoon, dear Algernon. I hope you're behaving very well.
Well, I'm feeling very well.
That's not quite the same thing. In fact, the two things rarely go together.
Dear me, you're smart.
I'm always smart. Am I not, Miss Dorothy?
Yes, Miss Fairfax, you are quite perfect.
Oh, I hope I'm not bad. There would leave no room for improvements, and I intend to develop in many directions.
I'm sorry for a little late, Algernon, but I was obliged to call on dear Lady Harbury. I hadn't been there since the poor husband's death. I never saw a woman so altered. She looks quite 20 years younger. And now I have a cucumber sandwiches and now I have a cup of tea and one of those nice cucumber sandwiches you promised.
Certainly, Antagasta. Good heavens, Lane! Why are there no cucumber sandwiches? I ordered them specially.
No. There were no cucumbers in the market this morning. I went down twice.
No cucumbers?
No, not even for ready money.
That will do then. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm greatly distressed, Antagasta, for being no cucumber sandwiches, not even for ready money.
It really makes no matter, Algernon. I had some crumpets with Lady Harbury, who seems to me to be living entirely for pleasure now.
I hear her hair has turned quite cold from grief.
It certainly has changed its color. From a cause I, of course, cannot say. Thank you. I've quite a treat for you tonight, Algernon. I'm going to send you down with Mary Farquhar. She is such a nice woman, and so attentive to her husband. It's delightful to watch them.
I'm afraid, Antagasta, I shall have to give up the pleasure of dining with you.
Oh, no, Algernon, that would put my table completely out. Your uncle would have to dine upstairs. Fortunately, he is accustomed to that.
I've just had a telegram to say that my poor friend Banbury is very ill again.
Mr. Bunbury seems to suffer from curiosity.
Yes, poor Banbury is a dreadful invalid.
In my opinion, I think it is high time that Mr. Bunbury made up his mind whether he was going to live or die. The shilly-shallying with passion is absurd. I should be much obliged if you would ask Mr. Bunbury from me to not have a relapse on Saturday, but I rely on you to make my music for me.
I'll talk to Bunbury if he's still conscious. And I think I can promise you that he will be alright by Saturday. Of course, music is a great difficulty. You see, when one plays good music, people can listen. And when one plays bad music, people don't talk. But I will run over the program that I've drawn out if you'll kindly come into the next room for a moment.
Thank you, Algernon. It is very thoughtful. Gwendolyn, you will accompany me.
Certainly, Mama.
Charming day it has been, Miss Fairfax.
Pray don't talk to me about the weather, Mr. Worthing. Whenever people talk to me about the weather, I always feel quite certain that they mean something else. And that makes me so nervous.
I do mean something else.
Not so. In fact, I'm never wrong.
And I would like to be allowed to take advantage of Lady Bracknell's temporal absence.
I would certainly advise him to do so. Mama has a way of coming back suddenly into a room that I've often had to speak to her about.
Miss Fairfax, ever since I met you, I've admired you more than any girl. I've ever met you since I met you.
Yes, I am quite well aware of that fact. I often wish that in public you'd been more demonstrative. For me, you've always had an irresistible fascination. Even before I met you, I was far from indifferent to you. We live, as I hope you know, Mr. Worthing, in an age of ideals. The fact has been constantly mentioned in the more expensive monthly magazines, and it has reached the provincial pulpits, I am told. And my ideal has always been to love someone of the name of Ernest. There's something in that name that inspires absolute confidence. The moment Algernon first mentioned to me that he had a friend called Ernest, I knew I was destined to love you.
Gwendolyn, do you really love me?
Passionately. Oh, Ernest.
But you don't really mean to say you can love me if my name wasn't Ernest.
But your name is Ernest.
But supposing it was something else, do you mean to say you can love me then?
That is clearly a metaphysical speculation. And like most metaphysical speculations, has very little reference at all to the actual facts of real life, as we know them.
Darling, to speak quite candidly, I don't much care about the name of Ernest. I don't think the name suits me at all.
Oh, it suits you perfectly. It's a divine name. It produces a music of its own. It produces vibrations.
Gwendolyn, I think there are lots of other much nicer names. I think Jack, for instance, a charming name.
Jack? No, there's very little music in the name Jack, if any at all, indeed. It does not thrill. It absolutely produces no vibrations. I've met several Jacks, and they all, without exception, were more than usually plain. Besides, Jack is a notorious domesticity for John. And I pity any woman who is married to a man called John. The only really safe name is Ernest.
Gwendolyn, we must get christened at once. I mean, we must get married at once. There's no time to be lost.
Married, Mr. Worthing?
Yes, surely. You know that I love you, and you led me to believe that you're not absolutely indifferent to me.
I adore you, but you haven't even proposed to me yet. Nothing has been said at all about marriage. The fact has not even been touched on.
Well, may I propose to you now?
That would be an admirable opportunity. And to spare you from any possible disappointment, Mr. Worthing, I think it only quite fair to tell you, quite frankly, that I am fully determined to accept you.
Gwendolyn?
Yes, Mr. Worthing, what have you got to say to me?
No, I haven't.
Yes, but you don't say it.
Gwendolyn, will you marry me?
Of course I will, darling. How long have you been about it? I'm afraid you have had very little experience in how to propose.
My own one. I've never loved anyone in the world but you.
Yes, but men often propose for practice. I know my brother Gerald does. All my girlfriends tell me so. What wonderfully brown eyes you have, Mr. Worthing. They're quite brown. I hope that you'll always look at me like that, especially Mom! Beg you to retire. This is no place for you. Besides, Mr. Worthing has not quite finished yet.
Finished with what? May
I'm
I ask?
engaged to Mr. Worthing, Mama.
Pardon me, you are not engaged to anyone. When you do become engaged to someone, I or your father, should his health permit him, will inform you of the fact. An engagement should come on a young girl as a surprise, pleasant or unpleasant as the case may be. It is hardly a matter that she could be allowed to decide for herself. And now I have a few questions to put to you, Mr. Worthing. While I'm making these inquiries, you, Gwendolyn, will wait for me below in the carriage.
But Mama!
In the carriage, Gwendolyn.
Yes, Mama.
You may take a seat, Mr. Worthing.
Thank you, Lady Bracknell. I prefer standing.
I feel bound to tell you that you are not down on my list of eligible young men. Although I do have the same list as the dear Duchess of Bolton has. We work together, in fact. However, I am quite ready to enter your name should your answers be what a really affectionate mother requires. Do you smoke?
Yes, I must admit I smoke.
I'm glad to hear it. A man should always have an occupation of some kind. There are far too many idle men in London as it is. How old are you?
29.
A very good age to be married at. I've always been of opinion that a man who desires to get married should either know everything or nothing. Which do you know?
I know nothing, Lady Bracknell.
I am pleased to hear it. I do not approve of anything that tampers with natural ignorance. Ignorance is like an exotic fruit. Touch it and the bloom is gone. The whole theory behind modern education is radically unsound. Fortunately, in England at any rate, education produces no effect whatsoever. If it did, it would prove a serious danger to the upper classes. That would probably lead to acts of violence in Grosvenor Square. What's your income?
Between 7,000 and 8,000 a year, I believe.
In land or in investments?
In investments, chiefly.
That is satisfactory. What between the duties expected of one during one's lifetime and the duties exacted from one after one's death? Land has ceased to be either a profit or a pleasure. It gives one position and prevents one from keeping it up. That's all that can be said about land.
I have a country house with some lands, of course, attached to it. About 1,500 acres, I believe. But I don't depend on that for my real income. In fact, as far as I can make out, the porters are the only one who makes anything out of it.
A country house. How many bedrooms? Well, that point can be cleared up afterward. You have a townhouse, I hope? A girl with a simple, unspoiled nature like Gwendolyn could hardly be expected to reside in the country.
I own a house in Belgrave Square, but it is led by the 80 Lady Bloxham. Of course, I can get it back whenever I like, at 6 months' notice.
Lady Bloxham? I don't know her.
Oh, she goes about very little. She's a lady considerably advanced in years.
Nowadays, that is no guarantee of respectability of character. What number in Belgrave Square?
149.
The unfashionable side. However, that can easily be altered.
Do you mean the fashionable side?
Both if necessary, I presume. Now, to minor matters. Are your parents living?
I have lost both my parents.
Mr. Worthing, to lose one parent may be regarded as a misfortune. To lose both looks like carelessness. Who was your father? He was evidently a man of some wealth. Was he born in what the radical papers call the purple of commerce, or did he rise in the ranks of the aristocracy?
I'm afraid I don't actually know. The fact is, Lady Bracknell, I said I have lost my parents, but it would be near the truth to say my parents seem to have lost me. I don't actually know who I might birth. Well, I was well, found.
Found?
The old Mr. Thomas Kaju, an old gentleman of a very charitable and kind disposition, found me and gave me the name of Worthing because he happened to have a fast pass ticket for Worthing in his pocket at the time. Worthing is a place in Sussex. It is a seaside resort.
Where did this charitable gentleman who had a first-class ticket to the seaside resort find you?
In a handbag.
A handbag?
A handbag. Somewhat large, black leather handbag with some handles attached to it. An ordinary handbag, in fact.
And what locality does Mr. James or Thomas Cardew come across this ordinary handbag?
The cloakroom at Victoria Station. It was given to him. He mistake for his own.
The cloakroom at Victoria Station.
Yes, the Brighton line.
The line is a material. Mr. Worthing, I must confess I feel somewhat bewildered by what you have just told me. To be worn, or at any rate, read in the handbag, whether it had handles or not, seems to me to display a contempt for the ordinary decencies of family life that reminds one of the worst excesses of the French Revolution. And I presume you know what that unfortunate movement led to?
Yes, I know you did.
As for the particular locality in which the handbag was found, a clubroom at a railway station might serve to conceal a social indiscretion has probably indeed been used for that purpose before now. They could hardly be regarded as an assured basis for recognized position in good society.
May I ask you then what you'd advise me to do? I hardly say I'd do anything in the world to ensure Gwendolyn's happiness.
I would advise you, Mr. Worthing, to try and acquire some relations as soon as possible, and to make a definite effort to produce at any rate one parent of either sex before the season is quite over.
I don't know how I could possibly manage to do that. I can produce the handbag in a moment, using that dressing room at my home. I really think that should satisfy you enough, Lady Bretton.
Me, sir? What has it to do with me? You can hardly imagine that I and Lord Bragnell would dream of allowing our only daughter, a girl brought up with the utmost care, to marry into a clergyman and form an alliance with a parcel? Good morning, Mr. Worthing.
Hello guys, there'll be a quick 5-minute intermission. So hope you enjoy and have a nice time chilling.
Hello, audience. Are you having fun tonight? So, this one is not just theater. We're incorporating a musical with it. And what musical? Does anybody know Chicago? Yes. So, we're doing a rendition of a scene from Chicago, which is the Self-Love Tango. So, there will be dance, music, singing, and acting. So, I hope you guys all enjoy it.
And now, the 6 married murders from the Isaac County Jail. In their rendition of the Cell Block Tango.
Into his head. He had it coming. He had it coming. He only had himself to blame. If you'd have been there, if you'd have heard it, I bet you would have done the same. I met Ezekiel Young from Salt Lake City about 2 years ago, and he told me he was single. Off right away. So we started living together. He'd go to work, we'd come home, I'd fix him a drink, we'd have dinner. And then I found out. Single, he told me. Single my ass! Not only was he married, oh no, he had 6 wives. So that night when he came home from work, I fixed him his drink as usual. You know, some guys just can't hold their arsenic. He had it coming. He had it coming. The cream of the flower. And then he used it. And he abused it. It was a murder, but not a possibility.
Now I'm standing in the kitchen, carving up the chicken for dinner, minding my own business. In storms my husband Wilburn until his rage. "You been screwing the milkman," he says. He was crazy, and he kept screaming, "You been screwing the milkman!" And then he ran into my knife.
If you had been there, if you had seen it, I bet you would have done the same.
Men voi anche sempre in danza. Provo. Parente anche me no razza. Dinara tale.
Yeah, but did you do it?
Not guilty.
My sister Veronica and I had this double act, and my husband Charlie traveled around with us. Now, for the last number in our act, we had these 20 acrobatic tricks in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, splits, verticals, backflips, flip-flops, one right after the other. So this one night, we were down in the Hotel Cicero, the 3 of us, boozing, having a few laughs, and we ran out of ice. So I go out to get some. I come back, open the door. Doing number 17. The spread eagle.
Well, I was in such a state of shock. I completely blacked out. I couldn't remember a thing. It wasn't until later, when I was washing the blood off my hands, I even knew they were dead.
They had it come, they had it come, they had it come, they had it come, they had it come.
very, very modest there. He directed The Importance of Being Earnest. Chicago was pretty much, I think, a group thing, but Nora, I know, was a driving force in that. I'm not sure who did the choreography. All of them. That's fantastic. We should look at doing a musical next year. I want to thank the crew. Vori, I think you really did a lot of the lighting, and of course Kunawat and Theo, and if I'm forgetting anybody, please tell me. But I'm very, very proud of the theater club, and once again, thank you for coming.
For helping set up the curtain you said.